All right. Call the Tuesday, October 17th, 2023 meeting of the Wethersfield Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Without a vice chair or a clerk, I'll do the attendance. I'm here. Tom Deane. Here. Dave Drake. Here. Dave Edwards. Here. Tony Himicki, not here. Jim Hughes, not here. George Oikel. Here. Joe Ercolani's not here. Pete Lambruni. Here. Paul Thompson. Here. Okay, and Dominic Caruso is here. Here. All right, so we have, what do we have? 5 regular members and 2 alternates, so everybody will be seated. We have 2 public hearings on the agenda. The way those will work is the applicant will come up, identify themselves by name and address for the record. You'll make a presentation about what it is that you're applying for. The commission may have some questions for you. There'll be some back and forth. Following that, we'll ask you to sit down, open it up to any members of the public that may wish to comment on the application. We'll invite them to come up. Again, identify themselves by name and address for the record and speak anything they have to say about your application. Once that's over, we'll invite you back up to respond to any public comments, to respond to any additional comments from the commission, any additional questions. If at that point we don't believe there's any additional information that we need in order to evaluate the application, we may vote to close the public hearing, then go into deliberations and vote on it. If after the back and forth, it turns out there is either additional information that we need or questions that we may have, we may continue the public hearing until our next meeting, just so that you get a chance to provide the answers to those questions and so forth. You know, basically everything that will be happening here in front of you, so there's no mystery or anything like that. And with that, we will start. The old business, first item was a public hearing that was technically continued at our last meeting. 215823Z, Susan Alderman, 265-267 Main Street. That application was withdrawn. So first item tonight, public hearing 215923Z, Jesse Cotto, seeking special permit in accordance with 52D1, permitted principal uses of the Wethersfield zoning regulations for a change of use at 500 Silas Deane Highway. So if you want to come on up, just again, please, you can both come up if you want. Just give us your name and address for the record and then tell us what it is that you're seeking to do.
Okay, so I'm Jesse Cotto. This is my wife.
Jesse Cotto. Nice to meet you all.
And we are proposing a barbershop across the street at 500 Silas Deane Highway. Change of use. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking to do.
You're going to give free haircuts to the town employees?
You can't get a discounted rate.
That was a great question, thank you.
Yeah, we're open to any questions, anything you want to know. Yeah, just trying to open up a community-friendly barbershop. I mean, I know Wethersfield doesn't have too many of those, maybe, if any. So yeah, we just want to come into town and, yes, sir.
Is this unisex or just men?
It's a men's. It's unisex if a woman wants a short haircut, but it's just men's barbershop.
Are you going to be doing beers like Roosters across the river?
Roosters. What do they do?
In Glastonbury.
Yeah, what do they do?
You do beards.
Beards? Yeah, we do.
And they shave and all that.
Yes, yes.
It's like a full service?
Full
bar?
service, yes.
So you'll have all that as well?
Yes, yes,
Very
yeah,
nice.
yes, yes.
And it's right across the street.
Yeah.
What are your proposed hours of operation?
So I have on the paper, Monday through Friday, 9 to 7, and Saturday, 9 to 5. But I'm going to admit I was a little ambitious. I might just do Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 7. Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 7, just because that extra day off is actually kind of nice, you know? So, yeah, just to start off, 9 to 7, Tuesday through Saturday, and to keep it flat across the board.
Okay. The one comment that the town engineer had regarded the number of parking spaces based on the change of use. And, maybe Don can address that. But one thing is that you show basically 9 barber stations. Do you really anticipate having 9 employees there at any given time?
Eventually, yes. We want to start off with 5 to 6, and as business grows, we want to add 9. There's a parking lot in front of the business.
Right.
Also, the owners of the establishment, the building, they have a huge parking lot in the back. It's behind Bellissima,
Belleza.
the salon next door to it. There's a huge parking lot back there, more parking. I'll just have the barbers park back there, and all the clients come to the front. So there's parking just for the clients.
Is that parking down in the back owned by the same people?
Yes.
We
Okay.
actually have
Yes.
John here as well.
John,
Oh, okay, he snuck in.
so,
All right. Did you have any comments on the parking or anything?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, that was something that we looked into. It meets the zoning as far as parking is concerned. As a matter of fact, it's overparked, if there's anything as such. But the first floor measures out to be, it measures out to be around 2,800 square feet, the whole first floor. And the parking requirement for the retail that was there before, basically, and the parking requirement for a barbershop is the same. The barbershop is considered a personal service in our regulations, so it's 5 per every 1,000 square feet. So for the barbershop, for the size of the area that he's going to be in, he only requires 6. But again, like you pointed out, 9 spaces, 9
Employees.
seats
Yes.
normally means 9 parking spaces for that one time.
Right, assuming none of them have customers.
Correct. But they do, the whole site is 2 floors, and the whole site, there's a total of 40-plus spaces on the whole site.
Okay.
But they're not using 2 floors,
No.
you're not using both floors.
Well, downstairs is being used also, not by him, but
Oh, okay.
it's by other uses, so
Yeah.
that's why we check the whole, all the uses to make sure that this is not taking anything away from the other uses.
Yeah, and one of the other uses down in the back is not a daytime use.
Right.
So, just a question on that back parking.
Pull this
I'm
down.
trying to visualize it. If you park there, you have to go up by the sidewalk and come around to go to the front? How do you get, that's how you do it, right? There's no other way but by the
If
sidewalk?
you park in the back, quite frankly, I have to doubt whether, you're some barber, if people are parking back there and gonna walk around.
yeah, I
But
plan to.
you're right, that's the way you would have to come if you park in the back.
Yeah,
So you're making a commitment to have all 9 employees park in the
in the
back?
back, yes. Yes. Leave the
So if
front,
we make that a stipulation of this approval, that's not a problem?
it's not a problem.
That's a good idea, right?
George,
Yeah,
can you pull the mic down, just so that
sorry.
the viewers at home can hear what everybody
Normally
else-
my voice is loud enough, I don't have to.
Well, I know, I was trying to make it a...
We heard George loud and clear,
Everybody.
we heard George loud and clear when he asked for the free haircut.
One other business of a similar nature along the Silas, Deane, the state insisted, because it was at a corner also, that the entryways, the old entryways to a gas station stuff, for example, had to be made less. And you don't think you're going to get into that, do you?
What, I don't understand the question.
I know you don't. It's involved.
No, it's just a change of use, they're not rebuilding the building, so...
Oh, okay, so that's the difference?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Traffic circulation.
The other
plan, the
situation
exact-
was a change of use, and so the state got involved
Right.
and said, cut down the driveway
Well, it was
entry
both a
points.
change of use and tearing down the building and rebuilding it.
Ah, okay. Okay, good, that answers my question. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? All right,
Thank you for your time.
sure. Is anybody in the public, did you want to add anything, John?
I just want to
Please come on up here if you want.
for the parking, there's plenty of parking for the employees to park in the back. Thank you.
Good hair.
Oops, I'm sorry, there's plenty of parking in the front, I assume. Right now, they said they want to start with 5. There's plenty of, and for some raised a question earlier, how they're going to walk from the back. There's a sidewalk on Church Street. There's a short sidewalk from the building, from the building.
Sidewalks in good shape?
Yes.
Okay.
I think what we heard, John, is that you have enough parking for this type of business, and the fact that he's agreed to have his 9 employees get out of the way, basically, and go to the back, that would help.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else in the public want to comment on this application? If not, do you want to come back up in case anybody has any other questions, or do we not?
Questions?
All right, someone want to make a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? All right, someone want to make a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion that we approve application 215923Z, Jesse Cotto seeking special permit in accordance with section 62D1 for a change in use for 500 Celestine Highway, with one stipulation that his employees will park in the back of the property as opposed to the front where your customers will be.
Second that motion.
All right, any discussion?
The only discussion I have to, I don't necessarily have a problem with stipulation, but I would think you naturally want his guys to go there, so with your customers, I don't know why you need to put that in, but it's up to you. I mean, if all your workers are in the front, the customers run back, they're not gonna come back, so but your call.
Yeah, I think it makes common sense, but since it is a change in use, and if they become so fabulously successful that they move to Miami and somebody else buys the place, the same stipulation will apply to them, so.
I want to be very customer friendly, so I'm gonna do that regardless. I want my employees in the back. It's a customer service based business. Customers in the front.
All right, anything else? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstention? Congratulations.
John, free pizzas for us? Maybe not haircuts, but maybe pizzas.
After the approval.
Pizzas, haircuts, why
So thank you very much.
All right,
Good luck.
all right.
Love his pizza.
Next item, 3.2, public hearing 2160-2123Z. Sergio Arriaga seeking special permit in accordance with section 36C, accessory buildings and structures of the Wethersfield zoning regulations for a shed over 200 square feet at 290 Main Street.
Hi, so I'm Sergio Joseph Arriaga and live at 290 Main Street in Wethersfield, and my wife Jennifer Johnston.
So just as background, we purchased the old parish house from the Trinity Episcopal Church about 9 years ago. As that, obviously prior their resident would have utilized the 3-bay garage there for outdoor stuff. We didn't have an outdoor building, so the church was kind enough to allow us to use a small shed that is just east of their 3-bay garage to house, bicycles and equipment and what have you. It wasn't in great shape, sorry to say, 9 years ago, and it's been deteriorating since, and basically the bottom, about 3 different walls are gone, so it's open to the weather as well as animals. So it was our intent to see if we could get a structure on our own side of the parking lot, which we would then house our stuff in our own property. leaving the church to do what they want with that shed. I think where we're at now is that we have a shared driveway. It starts out basically on church property, so we have an easement to access that side of the driveway, then it curves in onto our property. So our property offers the church an easement to also access that driveway, but then also the easement applies to accessing and using the parking space behind the asphalt part of our property. So we were looking to put the structure on that asphalt part of our structure, which I'm not sure what the impact is then to the number of parking spaces or what's required. The question came up yesterday. We'll back that up. We were asked for a letter from the church saying that they approved of the structure, so we acquired a letter from them signed by the 3 warders. And then yesterday it came up about something about where the handicap spaces. There were old yellow hash lines painted on our property's asphalt portion, but they had never been designated as handicap spaces, so they've never been utilized as handicap spaces. So the question came up as to, were we taking away handicap spaces? And to our knowledge, we're not, but I'm not sure what other questions there are. So that's kind of where we're at right now, in addition to any issues and questions that you have that arise tonight.
Okay. Dave?
Where was the old shed, looking at the plot? The shed you're getting rid of now on the other property, is it
It's on the north side,
north side?
on the east side of the 3-bay garage behind the church.
So a little square there?
Yes.
that's what it is? Okay.
You
And that
have,
is not our building, that is the church's building that they've just been nice enough to let us
Just curious
use.
where it was versus where you want to move it.
You have 2 handicap spaces right out at your driveway entrance, right?
We have 2 public handicap
ones,
spaces on Main Street,
Town-
correct?
town-
That the church is actually very happy to have. I don't want to speak for them, but that's much closer to the entrance to the sanctuary, so most of their parishioners try to use the front anyway. But
Yes, they're open.
obviously, the parking lot needs to be there
Sure,
to
but
meet
they're
zoning.
open to anybody, but there should be no conflict with their services and Sunday and so forth, right? Okay.
Correct, and there's still additional space on that asphalt area of our property. We're not taking it all up.
Okay.
Peter?
Yeah, I actually drove back there today to take a look. I was curious how this whole arrangement works with the church. And you're absolutely right. There's some faded lines
Yes.
marked there, but there's no signs. that
No,
would
never have been
Right.
since we've owned it.
Right, so, I mean, if it's not officially marked as handicap, then as far as I'm concerned, it's not designated handicap. So I think that issue is pretty clear to me. But the other question the town engineer had, you are removing 2 spaces, regardless if they're handicapped or not. And depending on how you access your shed, because you're putting it on the asphalt, right?
Yes.
And is there an overhead door, like
There
a
is.
garage door?
The
And you
intent
plan
was
on
to
going-
have an overhead door on the eastern side of it.
So are you going to drive into that with a car?
Well, we could, but wasn't necessarily our intent. But we could put one if the weather was bad. I mean, I have a Mini, it could fit in there, but otherwise it's not really, it's more intended to be a shed than a garage.
Well, the other question that the engineer had, if you intend on using that as a garage at any point, then the parking spaces in front would be obliterated as well, because they become a throughway for you to get your Mini into into there. So, I mean, this is not a question for you. Maybe, Dominic, it's a question for you. Have you guys looked at all the parking? Does it still work if they do this or not?
No, obviously, I mean, in order, you're right, the overhead door will be facing 2 spaces
Right.
there. So if they're gonna pull something in or.
So it'd be 4 spaces
then
total.
That's
Right.
correct. But it's a single-family house.
No, I mean, the easement for the church that allowed them to have,
Oh,
does
the
it
ea-
impact the church if they remove 4 spaces? Because they have an easement that allows the church to park there, so they're removing 4
Why do you say
spaces
they're
from the
removing
church.
4 spaces?
They're not,
They're moving 2.
Well, the drive-in,
Yeah, but if the church parks there first, they.
Yeah, we can't drive in. It is the way it is now.
they are not impeding the required parking that.
That was the question. So there's
Because
still enough
there
parking.
are, the church on the other side of the property, if you notice, it's not lined either.
Right.
So those aren't, if the church wanted more parking, they would just line the other side. On their property, they can line it too, to make it official parking spaces. I'm sure during your services that they park there, but they're not.
Again, I can't speak for the church, but they can also remove that shed now, and that gains them additional
That gains
spaces.
additional, that's true, too.
So, I mean, she's expressed to me that she would like to, but I think they'll have to go through their processes and decide whether they're going to do that or not.
The other question was that I think the chairman, when we talked about it, brought it up also, and I approached that, was whether they could put the shed on the grass instead of on the thing. The problem with that is that's a side yard, and according to the zoning regulations, the accessory building has to be 10 feet from the side, has to be 5 feet from the side yard. They're proposing right now 10 feet, and it goes into it, so they would only gain 5 feet, and if you're going to, and they couldn't fit the whole building on the side by maintaining the 10 feet.
Yeah, it just looked like they had a lot of room
It does.
here and here.
Oh, yeah.
On the grass, if they wanted to put it there, and,
That's the-
well, like all of this, all of this.
Well, this
Yeah, I
is-
mean, I'm not telling people,
they can put in.
Yeah, I assume they can if they want to by looking at this, but my assumption was that they want to be able to drive a car in there if nobody parks in front of the door, as Dave said. So in that case, they'd want it on a hard surface.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't impact what the church needs are, I guess I'm okay with this.
Mr. Chairman, do you want me to read into the record the
Sure.
church's?
or you can just summarize it.
Yeah, in summary, they're saying they don't have any problem with the parking or the flow of the traffic. And they're not upsetting the flow of the traffic at all. This letter is to confirm our full support of this plan. We have no concerns that this structure will impact our church life at Trinity Parish. We wish them success as they go forward.
Tom?
I have a question, and I'm not sure exactly how to formulate it. It has to do kind of with property rights. Is the piece of property on which you propose to use the shed or place the shed, is that within the easement
Yes.
Yes.
line of that the church has a property interest
Yes.
in? Now, have you looked into whether or not the consent of the church that's been read into the record essentially adequate to address their property rights so that you are free and legally capable of putting that shed in without violating those property rights to the property on which the shed will be placed?
We haven't had a legal opinion.
That's my, I guess, my last remaining chief concern with regards to your application as to whether or not, this opens up a can of worms that could ultimately result in some kind of future dispute. I don't think that's a zoning issue, though, but it's just a cautionary note. I have some concerns about relative to the arrangements between you and the church. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. Anybody else?
And just as a comment, you could always revise the easement. I mean, that's probably the way to get out of any trouble in the future. I mean, the church seems to be willing to allow this, so maybe you can work with them and revise the easement to allow that structure to be built in that area.
Okay.
Good idea.
A modification to the existing easement that went with the title to your property, and have that recorded on the record, and that basically protects both you and the church.
Yeah, I think that would be the best approach.
Okay, we can look
This
into
is
that.
when they subdivided the property.
Okay. Dave?
The only comment I have is, it's not a garage, it's a shed. So if for some, and they got two parties, if for some reason you don't like it, seems like it'd be easy enough to move it, come back in and move it again. Then it's a shed, not a garage, so. Everybody seems to be happy here, so I don't have a problem with it at all.
Yeah, I mean, if it becomes a problem for plowing or parking or something else,
Figure it
there
out,
are
yeah.
plenty of ways to figure it out. All right. Anything else before we open it to the public? All right. Is there anybody in the public that wants to comment on the application?
I am Connie Harris Simeon. I'm referenced as one of the wardens that signed the letter that you just read. I just wanted to offer, if you have any questions of me, it was very hard to hear what some of you were saying back there, so I did hear Trinity Church mentioned once or twice. Do you have any questions of me in this?
Well, if you didn't hear, there was a discussion about potentially revising the easement. Would that be something that you guys would be open to?
Well, it certainly wouldn't close. I'm not quite sure why it would be necessary, though. We've operated with this easement since whatever it was, 2000. Yeah, and had no difficulties. We always honored the best that we could those parking spots down that right-hand side. And there is a sign at the end of it that says church parking with an arrow towards the back of it. So to the degree that people ever pay attention to signs or honor them, we try to keep, people know they shouldn't, parishioners know they shouldn't park there, but it's also designated as a town parking lot, and we have no control over those souls, so. But in terms of the easement, we've had no problems when this came up to us that they wanted to do this. As far as we understood, it takes the place of some of those parking spots. It's going to go lengthwise, not out into the parking lot. That's not a problem to us. The town did us a great favor, unrelated to this, when they put the 9 spots across the front that were pull-in spots, because we only had like 4 parallel parkings out there before, and also that 2 handicap parking spots that are there. I know they're not for us, but they are for that area, and those are wonderful for the congregation that needs it because they're so much closer. I mean, we can go ahead and put handicap parking spots out back like there were, but then you got to walk a half a mile to get to the front of the church. So that's all understood, and we have no difficulties, no problems with this. I don't know what, in reference to your question, I'm not sure, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know what would be in it for us that we would want to do that.
Well, it was just simply suggested that since the easement before did not contemplate having a structure.
Oh, I
there,
understand, okay.
Then a revision that allows a structure would keep everything clean.
I guess so, but I don't know, probably from the church's point of view, doesn't 6 of one, half dozen of the other, I'm not sure it would make a difference to us. We do the snow removal for the whole area. We're used to that. I mean, we share a driveway. You're not going to have 2 snow removal people come in, you do your side and I'll do ours, you do ours. So we've worked together very well and have no difficulties.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public? All right. If not, do we have any other questions for the applicants?
This is only for your use only? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just maybe a question for you or Dom. The only reason they're here is because it's 40 feet greater, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. Is that true?
Yes, it's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a moot point anyways.
Yeah, I mean, if they were putting a 200 square foot shed there,
They
you wouldn't know about
They wouldn't
it.
have to,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Right. Anything else? If not, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, is there a second? All right. Motion made and seconded to close the hearing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Someone want to make a motion on the application?
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve public hearing 216023Z, Sergio Arriaga seeking special permit under section 3.6.c of the Wethersfield zoning regulations for a shed over 200 square feet at 290 Main Street. Approved.
Second.
All right. Any stipulations or other thoughts that anybody might have? All right. If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations. I guess the one thing that I would just put on the table is we had a discussion when we were talking about boondoggle about whether on-street town-provided handicap parking spaces could count toward the requirement for the private property owner. Here, we didn't directly address that issue, but I just wanted to make sure that if we're looking at that again in the future, that we bear in mind the position that we took previously.
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, you confused me. I'm sorry, maybe it's my age, but what you just said, did you say that wouldn't count for the private parking? That's all you said.
Right, if a private property owner is required to put X handicap spaces on their property.
On site, that doesn't count toward that.
When we were dealing with boondoggle, we didn't count those toward it.
Yeah, I know, we've argued about that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah, we argued about it a lot.
That's true, a lot, that's right, especially down at the corner.
Right.
Mr. Chairman, I concur that that should be noted, but for this application, I don't see that that's an issue. It would be maybe an issue that, the town zoning enforcement officer would take up with the church, because it's up to them to provide the striping, the designations for their own parking lot, and I don't think that really applies to these applicants.
No, I agree. I mean, and the only reason I mentioned it is that it was cited in the town engineer's memo, and it was something, that diagonally across the street, blood was shed over.
Oh, yeah, sure was.
All right. Next item, 4.1, proposed 2024 meeting dates. Someone want to make a motion to approve the list?
Did anyone on this commission look through those dates and find any problem with them as far as any issue, holiday or anything else? I didn't, but
No, they have.
I didn't thoroughly look at it.
Yeah, I mean, they have, we have 6 Wednesday meetings,
Right.
all of which I assume are because the Monday is the holiday.
Right.
It doesn't include Christmas. I don't know where the Jewish holidays or others are.
Or when the federal government makes something a national holiday and we are not aware of it now, but.
Well, we will be meeting the day before the
Yeah, right.
most recent federal holiday.
No problem.
All right, someone want to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the holiday schedule. for next
Meeting
year.
schedule.
Meeting schedule.
I'll second. Although every one of these meetings seems like a holiday, doesn't it?
You're right, sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Okay, minutes of September 6th. Looks like everybody here was there.
I
Anybody?
motion to accept the meetings. I've read them through, they seemed okay to me. If there's any comments, others can chime in.
Did anybody have any comments on September 6th?
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, your first remark. I didn't know you had to be at the meeting in order to approve the minutes?
Technically, you don't, but I was just commenting that,
Some
you know, if
commissioners have
anybody
been
felt
concerned, I know.
obligated to abstain because they weren't here and they don't know if they're right.
Well, okay, I wanted to clear that one up because I thought everybody could vote no matter whether they're here or not. So,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, technically you can, it's just, you know,
It's
voting
nice
on
to
minutes of a
be-
meeting I wasn't at would be like
And you should abstain.
talking about
It
a,
is an ethical
As my
issue.
colleague here next to me does do that.
talking about how great a meal I didn't eat was. Okay, on September 6 minutes, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstentions? All right, next one is September 19th.
Same motion to accept.
approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Second.
all right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, Paul's abstaining. Okay, what's next?
Paul Thompson. I read them, so I'm not abstaining.
All right, next, staff report, you wanted to talk about the RFP documents that everybody but me got.
I know you commented on it. That's-
Yeah, I know, I don't need to see them
Do
again.
you want them?
No.
Yeah, the commission, I know, is quite aware of the need for, to update both our plan of conservation and development and also the affordable housing plan. The POCD, that can cost the town money, obviously, if we don't, as far as grants are concerned. If we do not get that going, we did get a waiver for one grant, but now we're talking to, matter of fact, this afternoon, yesterday, I talked to OPM about another grant that we're applying for, and that hopefully we don't get denied. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, this is the RFPs. The town manager, developed them. I looked them over and tweaked them a little bit. And if it's all right with the board, or we'd like to get this out on Tuesday of next week, that's why we're trying to rush this. But if it's a problem, well, then we'll wait.
So you want a motion to approve or authorize, Mr. Chairman?
I don't, it's up to you, I don't know that you mean.
Yeah, I don't think we.
I don't think we need to, do we?
No, I think we just want to be aware of it, and if
Yeah.
anybody has
Okay.
if anybody has any comments on the drafts that have been circulated,
I didn't think we had to go around telling your manager he should go ahead with something that he's supposed to do.
Well, the POCD especially
I
is.
just want to make sure it gets done.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question, just how things work. How is this different, similar, complementary to, isn't there a strategic plan isn't the town undergoing a strategic plan as well? How does this fit with that?
This is land use.
Okay.
And this
Very
is,
specific?
it is land use. It has a lot more teeth to it, and our zoning regulations should reflect the plan of conservation and development. That's the tool to implement it. The capital improvement plan is another tool to implement the plan of conservation and development. So there is similarities, but this is really land use on the future use of land. And
You have to
that's
have
what I think.
this.
Yeah, I mean,
They would shut us down if we didn't get this.
They might, no,
You
they
couldn't
wouldn't shut you
move on a
down,
lot of
but
stuff.
but they won't.
Things would stop.
Yeah, and anyone, if you don't have this and someone can prove that your zoning regulations do not comply with the plan of conservation and development, that's sort of the kiss of death on any motion, any
And the plan of
actions that you
conservation and
take.
development is by state law.
Right.
It's different than the strategic plan, which
Right.
has no relevance.
Right, that's a management,
Yeah, I mean, the strategic plan is kind of a nice-to-have sort of thing. This is required by statute.
Got it.
Right, exactly.
Thank you.
Dave?
Just curious how they do, like, you have a section, transportation systems including roads, sidewalks, and multipurpose trails. What would someone regarding us put down for that? I mean, they're gonna review where we should have trails, or I'm just kind of curious. Obviously, someone probably copies something from somewhere else and pastes it, cleans it up for us, but
oh, yeah,
we're not looking for, like, a road that's not designed, but new paths, are we? Or what would they do with something like that?
I mean, right now, you're in the process of doing, the trails, connecting to a Hartford Trail, and, that would be, if you look at your old plan of conservation and development, you would see that trail. So,
Okay.
we're doing, and we're getting the money from some money from the state and the feds.
Yeah, I mean, and
That comes right in.
I think the bullet point outlines are probably taken from our existing one.
Absolutely, no, I'm just
You know,
curious
and-
what's in there, 'cause
and,
I don't think I ever saw it.
If we weren't already built out, it would be more relevant where we were going to put roads.
He has here energy usage. I mean, is someone gonna figure out all the watts for different areas in town? I don't know, I'm just kind of curious, because obviously someone copied and pasted this. I'm just curious where they go on that, but anyways, we'll see, good.
Yeah, I think the other thing that we talked about, and maybe we can pick up at another time, is the concept that had been floated back a few months ago of, basically doing a very, I hate the phrase quick and dirty, amendment to the existing POCD that updates certain, numerical and quantitative information without getting into too much policy, just so that we can have something that is close to 10 years old, because when you hire the consultant, depending on what kind of budget you have and what kind of process you set up, it's a year, and we don't want to be, crawling on our hands and knees to OPM to get a waiver every time we want to get a grant for the next year and a half, so.
You're saying take the old plan, put new numbers on it, and start from there?
Well, I mean, and look at it and see what, if anything, is obsolete, what, if anything, in there is, just kind of a first cut at an update in the way of an amendment, just so that we've done something that.
And we cover ourselves for grants.
Yeah, I mean, it takes the pressure off and it allows us to do, a more comprehensive job with.
I think that's a good idea, Mr. Chairman.
No, we would be doing that on our own in-house, I think.
Yeah, I would concur with doing that. In fact, I thought that process was going to be under the way this past summer, and we would have accomplished it by this point in time. So
Yeah,
I'm surprised that it hasn't been done, but I presume it has to do with, issues of staffing and the like with regards to the Office of Planning and Economic Development.
Correct.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, in talking to OPM, I think I got the feeling that once we actually hire a consultant, we won't be under pressure as
Okay.
much, just to let you know, but.
What do you mean by pressure?
Have to ask for a waiver every time we're.
Oh, okay, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so they would see that as basically
we've gotten to
good
this
faith
point.
toward moving toward updating it
right now.
rather than.
Once we got to this point now, that's going to be good enough for OPM?
We'll
Not
see.
yet. Yeah.
You better hope so.
If when the RFP goes out, that's a click in our favor. When we hire a consultant, that'll be now they know that when we write these letters for waiver, if you look at some of the letters that we wrote for waivers, we were gonna do a lot by this past summer, and we didn't do.
Back in the old days, I worked with that staff down there. I don't trust them at all, so that's why I get at these things. Oh, God, yeah.
All right, did you have anything else you wanted to discuss?
No, that's, I'm taking it and I'm going to report to the city manager that we're going to go with this right now and get it out there.
All right, good.
Is that?
Mr. Chairman, I just had a quick question. I hope I can get a quick answer on it. The working group that is mentioned in the last paragraph on page 1 of your request, how is that established or appointed?
The whole idea that, and if it turns out that, you know, it's later on decided that that's not the way we want to go, we can always change that when we have the consultant come in and do that. But the idea is that you want to have every commission or board that has some land use duty to be part of the overall group. The statutes are clear that this is the total responsibility of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So you have to lead the way, this commission. So, but if you just break out a group of commissioners to shepherd, to meet with the consultant, go through all the data and everything on that line, you're just keeping it in your house. I've found that over the years that one board in particular I always like to throw in there is the Zoning Board of Appeals, because when the variances come up, it's always nice to remind people that they were involved in
Good idea.
passing. The same with the council, even though, you know, when people may change or something like that. But so you ask like every one of those boards, those are like the boards that you see there are mentioned, or really have something to do with it. You have the historic district, you have, you know, everybody is involved in this so that they all can get their say. They're all sitting at the table, so to speak, if you know what I mean. And they all, if they don't show up, they don't show up, and, you know, what can we say? But, so, it's always good, like, I remember doing the one for Meriden, and I also did one for Granby, the same way, where, and it's amazing how it does work out better when you do have all those people. But you usually have, like, I shouldn't say usually, you can have, I would suggest like have through a POCD committee of the board, of the planning commission, maybe 3 members or somebody like that, and have the chairperson of this working committee be one of the planning commissioners. So you guys have the votes on the board if it ever gets down to where you have to take votes. But most of the time you don't have to take votes because, you know, the consultant's going to lay everything out, and then you report back. Supposedly everybody on that board, on the committee, on the working committee, will report back to their board. So somebody from the ZBA will go back to the Zoning Board of Appeals and say, hey, this is what we're looking at this year, in this meeting. So anyway, so that's what that's all about.
Okay, so bottom line, from what I pick up from what you're saying is that working group would be a working group that would be, you know, subject to or controlled by the determination of this commission.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They will probably meet with the consultant maybe 4, 5, 6 times, depending on how that works. When the consultant has all the data and wants to present the data of the existing situation, you'll meet, and he'll explain where we're at, or she'll explain where we're at. And then when they have then they'll have a public meeting outside of that and get some public input, and then you'll meet again. The working group will meet again.
Sounds good. All right. Anything else, anybody? All right. Thank you very much for your work.
No, thank you.
Good luck.
Members of the public, any public comments on, yell at us.
You are here tonight to speak.
I'm here tonight. This is probably my last planning and zoning meeting as a liaison to the council. I just wanted to thank everybody up here, and to those that aren't here, you guys are very entertaining and informative, and it's been a real pleasure. So I'll still be around, but not on as tight a schedule. Okay?
Thank you
All right.
for all your service and also your appearance at all the board meetings.
Well, you should have at least one person in the audience. This is.
We'll save your seat.
No, I mean, and you know, all kidding aside, I do appreciate your diligence. I mean, over the years, we've had a lot of people who have been the liaison from the council that we wouldn't have been able to guess who was our liaison from the council, but you've definitely made it clear who it is, and you've done a good job of fulfilling the purpose of communicating back and forth. I mean, I've seen your reports at the council meetings, and you know, essentially you've taken the job seriously and done it well. We may not have agreed on everything, but you know, such is life. But you've done a good job.
Thank you.
I thank him for his long service in this realm, and I'll be disappointed to not have him on the council in the near future, but I hope you show up out here and act as a concerned citizen as best you can.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
I have pending applications.
Okay.
There are two applications coming forward that we know of now. The deadline, I believe, is tomorrow afternoon. So 2176, 2180 Berlin Turnpike was a self-storage that was approved this year sometime. I forgot exactly when.
That's the one down in the hole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, they want to reduce the size of the building down to 4,500 square feet. So it's a pretty good reduction, pretty big reduction. And they're going to reduce the number of units by 84 units. And they're adding 9,000, almost 10,000 square feet of outdoor storage. So that, at first, when I looked at this, I was like,
10,000 of outdoor?
yeah, 9,800 square feet of outdoor storage, add 9,000.
We were trying to get rid of the outdoor when they came in.
Exactly.
Were you?
Yeah, we were.
Okay. All right, well, anyway, so, you know, the issue was whether they should come in as a special permit, meaning they need a public hearing, or just a site plan modification. And once I saw that, the fact that they were adding onto the outside storage, I thought that you guys might say that. Something.
So just a quick question, what's the objection to outside storage, depending on what it is?
Behind people's yards.
Okay.
I could see it, that's all. Talk about it.
Yeah, it's not prejudgment, it's just a matter.
It'll fit the trucking school, though.
It'll fit the what?
The trucking school, they're talking about. One will fit in that right area, the trucking school.
Oh,
they
right
wanna put in.
size, yeah.
So that's one application that'll be in for next meeting. And also 898, some of you will remember this too. It's funny how things come back. I remember this one myself. 898 Silas Deane Highway, they want to go for a special permit for a liquor license to operate a liquor store. It was denied in September 22. You guys denied that, and when the person came in, I let the person know, you know, that, hey, this was denied, and I gave him the letter and everything like that. And I thought, you know, that was the end of that. I mean, but no, he insists on coming forward. It's over a year, so he has the right to reapply.
Is this the same owner or a new owner?
It's the same owner.
So what's changed?
It's another year.
I
Another
think
year,
what's
yeah.
changed
He has
is,
a right to come in,
I
but-
think we did, Lynn, the secretary, said that a traffic engineer did call up and ask about when they should bring in the traffic study. So I don't know, at that time, did they have a traffic? I don't think they did.
The traffic was bad there, the neighbors were not happy with it, and so forth and so on.
So those are the two applications that we have, that we have coming before us.
What day is that, November 8th?
I believe it's the 8th.
Because they use this room on Election Day, which is the regular Tuesday.
Oh.
That's the last thing you tell, where's the address on that last thing you got?
The address is 898.
Where's that?
Silas, Deane.
It used to be the Pelton's hard goods stuff. You know, it's like near porch and patio.
Cell phone place in there.
Yeah, cell phone.
T-Mobile's there right now?
Just beyond
I got you.
Burger King and City Fish.
It seems less than a year ago that we talked about that.
It
Oh,
was,
time flies when you're having fun.
yeah, it was denied September 7th, 22.
I remember it, it just doesn't seem like that long ago.
There's also a question on the number of liquor stores in the town, right? Isn't there a limit?
Yeah, I think there's one open permit.
So, okay, so he can get one more?
That was an issue, but not a big issue. The neighborhood didn't like it. The traffic conditions were not good there. There was a lot of negatives on it.
Well, we're going to hear it with open minds.
I'm
That's right.
going at it with an open mind, and
Yeah, you
it's
are.
an intersection I use a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Shut my big mouth.
I know, this meeting's gonna last an hour if you keep going.
I know. You wanted 2 hours?
No.
No.
All right.
We open a crack.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you all.